Manute Bol is mostly known as the tallest player in the NBA's history at 7'7", playing for the Bullets, Warriors, Sixers, and the Heat during his 11-year career. He is one of the most unique players in NBA history, from his size to his playing style, which resulted in him averaging more blocks than points during his career. But what you may not know about him are some crazy stories about him told by his former teammate and NBA All-Star Jason Williams. Back in 2016, Williams was doing a podcast with Vice Sports and telling some ridiculous stories about NBA players, especially Bol. Firstly, he told the story of the Sixers' interesting strategy in helping Bol put on some weight. They used to let Manute Bol drink the whole time, so he would drink Heinekens all day long to help put on weight. So Manute Bol never played sober in one basketball game. He used to put on all his clothes last, so what he would do after he got out the shower, he would put on his socks and then that was it. And he would just walk around the locker room naked drinking Heinekens, said Jason Williams via Vice Sports. The second story Williams told was regarding Bol's age. This one is not uncommon for players coming from Africa. In the official books, Bol was listed to be born on October 16, 1962, which means he was 28 years old when playing with Williams. But he didn't believe that, and he thought he was much older. He used to say that he was 35 years old, but I used to be on the bench looking at all the circles and scars around his head, and I asked him one day, "Manute, what are those scars on your head?" And he says, "Well, the white man lost my birth certificate in the jungle, so every 5 years I take a rock and I slice one across my head." And I was like, alright, and then I started looking at it the next game and I said, holy shit, Manute Bol is 55 years old. There's also the story about this shared by his former coach at Cleveland State, Kevin Mackey, who believed Bol was much older than people thought he was. I gave him his birthday because they didn't know how old he was. He had no idea of his age, and the kid who came over with him didn't know how old he was. No one knew how old he was. I wanted to make sure he was young enough because he didn't have an age. I think he was in his 40s, I really do. But there's no way of ever really knowing. Every athletic door is open at 19. Every athletic door is closed when you're 35. He was probably 40, 50 years old when he was playing in the NBA, said Kevin Mackey via Zag's blog. How much truth and credibility these stories have is up to debate, as they are pretty bizarre. But one thing is for sure, Manute Bol is one of the greatest stories and persons in NBA history. It's even more fascinating if he could play in the NBA at the age of 40 and 50 and still be a solid role player. He worked on his craft and is still, to this day, remembered as one of the best shot blockers in NBA history.